The truth has been deliberately locked away for years with lies, deceits, and changes because the enemy doesn't want us to know the truth. But now people are waking up and seeking the truth like never before. The lies that have been told can no longer contain them. Now truths that you never would have imagined are being revealed. Like our Heavenly Father's name, Yahuwah, and His only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. The truth is coming for all of the lies, because the truth will set you free. And every lie and every stronghold that had a hold on many are being destroyed. No lie will survive. The truth. Hello and welcome to all. Today we're going to be talking about whether you know it or not, we've been lied to. Part 2, Divine Intervention. I'm going to be sharing some miracles that happened that just, there's no other explanation but divine intervention. And of course I had some pictures done, some pictures made so that you can visualize what I experienced. The Grill Miracle. This miracle, just like the Psalms 91 miracle, really left an impression I will never forget. It started out just like any other day. I was actually having a cookout in my apartment, and some of my neighbors were over. We were out on the patio. I was using a gas grill that I had won from my job, and I was in the process of actually getting it lit so that we could start the barbecue, the cookout. So we were just having a good time and everything. So when I attempted to light this grill, a burst of flames flew up into my face, hair. I could not believe what was happening. It just flew up into my, I was surrounded by flames, and all I could see was flames. When I tell you, that's all that happened. All I could see was the flames. I saw everything happening, but I did not feel any heat. My hair was not burned. My skin was not burned. My clothing were not burned. I did not even feel the heat. These flames were all in my face, and I did not feel any of them. My neighbor, she was sitting in one of the chairs, and I looked back. She looked at me. She saw what happened. We were both amazed. And at the time, I didn't really understand what had happened. I was like, is this something with gas grills? But then I started looking, doing some research online, and checking some things out, and I was seeing people talking about how they were burned by when they were igniting the grill, and people's hair was singed, people got facial burns, arm burns, eyebrows coming off. Some people said that their mascara melted and even drops of the hot mascara scarred. I was seeing all of this. So this was not something typical with a grill. This was a miracle. This was the Most High intervening in my life, and I didn't even understand it or realize it at that time. I was thankful. I was shocked, but you just don't realize how He is protecting us. And now we've read in the scriptures about people being exposed to flames and not feeling a thing, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We know that they were thrown in there, but the people who got close, they burned up, but they were walking around just fine. Little did I know I was going to experience a miracle where flames were going to cover my face and be near my clothes and everything, and not even feel it. All I did was see it. I am so thankful to the Most High. I know He was with me. I know He kept me. I'm just so thankful. And this is just one of the many miracles where he's just been working continuously in my life. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure many of you have experienced miracles that you didn't even realize as you were growing up throughout the years. But this grill miracle, it I did not feel the heat. Saw it. My neighbor witnessed this happen. Did not feel the heat. Not a cinch. Nothing. The Most High, he can do all things, and that's whose protection we want to be under and in. And I'm so thankful for His truth, because the truth sets you free. And when you know who your Abba is, and that's Father in Hebrew, you know who to go to. So that's just one. That's one of them, and it happened so quickly. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next miracle. The four-way miracle. On this particular day, my mother and I, we had just left a family luncheon, and I was taking her home. We were in her neighborhood. It was probably around after 2 p.m., so the sun was up. We were at a four-way stop sign. It was our turn to go. No vehicles were at any of the other stop signs. No one was behind us either. So I had all day long to go at this point. But for some reason, I could not go forward. Something had me to want to see what my mother was doing. So I look over. She's in the passenger seat with her on her phone. And I asked her what she's doing. And so she was adding photos from the luncheon to Facebook. And at this point, I was not interested in Facebook at all, really. So that's not even something that would get my interest, doing Facebook. But that particular day, I was very interested. Something had me so interested in it. And we were at that stop sign for a moment, actually, looking at these photos, looking at my mother upload the photos. So some time had passed. I don't know exactly how long. I don't recall exactly how long it was. But I know we were there for a moment, and still at this point, no other vehicles had approached any of the stop signs. Still, no one was behind us. So I started to ease my foot off of the brake so that we could proceed to go across. I didn't just take my foot off the brake, I just eased it on off. But as I did that, a white Pathfinder was approaching from the right of the vehicle on the passenger side to go across. This vehicle was going so fast that it looked like a blur. It looked like that vehicle came from the spiritual realm. That's how fast that vehicle was going. I've seen vehicles go fast, but that's the fastest I've ever seen a vehicle go. That was like, it was like a blur, like you could almost see I just could not understand how that vehicle came that fast through this neighborhood, because the road that it was traveling on had houses, homes, and several people had their cars on the road. So this was not a road that you could just go through that fast on. And my mother and I, we were, needless to say, extremely shocked. So of course I pressed my foot back down on the brake, and we just had to absorb it that this vehicle, that if we had not have heeded, if I did not look over there and want to see the photos, if she was not putting the photos on Facebook, everything was according to the Most High's plan for us to stay at that stop sign. Because if we had been at any point moving forward, that impact would have been something else. I am so thankful to the Most High. These miracles at this time, I still did not know the truth. I did not know His name. I was in Christianity. But He was reaching out. He was showing me there is more. Y'all, we are not alone. This is real. He was showing me I needed to seek more. But at that time, I didn't have that understanding. I was thankful, and we were just giving glory to what we knew is God. We were thankful, and of course, it took us a moment before we did go ahead and make it to her house. But when we did, oh, we just gave glory, honor, and praise, because that was just something else. Because we know without that divine intervention, that would have been something else. And I know it's so many of you who experienced things like this where you know it's divine intervention. And it's his way of reaching out to us. He's not never going to force anything in our lives. He wants us to seek him. And at that time, it was like things just kept happening. So we had the Psalms 91 miracle. Then we had the grill miracle. And now here we are at the four-way miracle. And I'm thankful and everything, but I'm still not seeking like I need to be seeking, because I'm not understanding that this world is full of lies, and that there are some truths, some serious truths that have been hidden. So, needless to say, his ways are not like our ways. His thoughts are not like our thoughts. So it's like he's constantly interacting in our lives, wanting us to seek him, wanting us to have a relationship with him, wanting us to know the truth. But we just have been so conditioned and so indoctrinated that we just don't understand. At that time, at least I didn't. And there's a lot of people who were like I was at that time, just don't understand all these deceptions. But yet, it just shows his love. It just shows his grace and mercy. And I'm just so thankful for him. And please share your miracles, your experiences, the divine intervention that you've experienced. Please share it. Because sometimes you can talk to people about things and they don't even understand it, but yet they won't acknowledge miracles. Yet the scripture, the book, is full of miracles. And it's really something else. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next miracle. The ladder miracle. This particular time, I was actually heading to work on the freeway, and I was traveling along in morning traffic. There was a truck in front of me that had a ladder on the back. So as I was going along, this feeling suddenly came over me very powerfully that I needed to get over to the lane, in the lane to the right. And it was like I felt the sense of urgency. You know how it is when there's a sense of urgency. It was like this sense of urgency. I didn't understand what was happening, but I knew I had to get in that other lane to the right of me, and I had to get over there quickly. So I didn't question the feeling. I just looked, and I went ahead and got over into that lane. When I tell you, as soon as I got over in the lane to the right, that ladder came off the back of that truck into the spot where I just was. And all I could do was give glory, honor, and praise to the Most High, because at that time I did not know the truth. I still did not know the truth. But yet he was there. There he was again. Just like the Psalms 91 miracle. Just like the grill miracle. Just like the four-way miracle. Here he is again with the ladder miracle. Communicating, leading, and guiding. Showing there's so much more. And at that time I still didn't understand that I needed to seek him more. But here I am, another miracle where he has saved me again. And I mean, as soon as I get over, that ladder comes off the back of that truck. Nobody could tell me all these miracles that I've experienced. Now, one thing that I did realize is that the Most High is real. He is real. No one can tell me he's not real. No one can tell me the scriptures are not real, because I have experienced too many miracles. And after that Psalms 91 miracle, nobody would have won any kind of telling me anything other than, yes, he is real. Because that's all I knew, and I believe he has shown me, and I know he is real. There's not any question of that. But I didn't know how much deception. I did not know how much disrespect had been done to the Most High, to his son, Yahushua HaMashiach. I didn't know all of the lies and the deceit, but yet Here he was keeping me, even though the world, which is the devil's playground, trying to keep him away from his children, trying to block us from knowing him. He knows us, but the world tries to keep us from knowing him and having that relationship with him. Because if you have that relationship with him, the enemy don't want you to have that hedge of protection that can come from the Most High. He don't want us to be able to call upon that true name in a time of trouble, because there's nothing the enemy can do. But he can deceive, he can deceive, he can deceive. And he's been doing that since the beginning. But I'm so thankful again to the Most High for keeping me. Even when in these, we've seen the miracles he does in the scriptures. He's done in the scriptures. But can you imagine how many miracles he's doing in his children's lives? Because he is a living Elohim. Yahuwah is living. He is still interacting in our lives. It didn't end with the scriptures. That's what has been passed down. So we know he wanted us to know these things. But he's still interacting. We can have that relationship with him now, where he leads and guides us into all truth. That's why he sent the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh in Hebrew. And it's amazing to see how long-suffering he is. His grace and mercy still. And still, I continued on. I was still in Christianity at that time, because I thought that was the way. I thought Christianity was the way. But the Most High kept me. I'm so thankful that he kept me. I'm so thankful, because to know and to realize and come into his truth is a feeling like nothing else. And so this is another miracle. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next miracle. The intersection miracle. So this particular miracle happened on I guess you could say this was a major intersection where you had traffic coming from, so we were in the two turning lane here. We were in the second left turning lane, and of course traffic also was coming from the opposite direction, as well as crossing in front of us. So at this particular time, there were cars everywhere. So this was a busy intersection here. So there was a vehicle in the left to us. There were vehicles in the right lanes to us, the traveling straight lanes. There were vehicles on the opposite side. This was packed. This was a busy time of day. Makes me think it could have been possibly around lunchtime, because we were near a major restaurant. A lot of people frequented, so it was a lot of traffic. At this particular time, though, we were waiting. The light had turned green, and this is the particular intersection where you have turning arrows for the left lanes, and also, when you get the turning arrow for the left lane, then the right straight lanes is still red. So we had the arrow. It was our turn to go. Something kept me from going. This time I was also with my mother this time. So and also there was a vehicle to the left, but it was like an SUV. It was a big vehicle, so we couldn't even see the other traffic that would be coming from the crossway. We couldn't see any of that traffic because of that large vehicle. So here we have the green arrow, and I'm not moving forward. Something makes me not want to move forward, even though it's our turn to go. So as we were just sitting there, next thing you know, a large SUV came flying through the intersection from the side where they had a red light. And there is no way we would have known about that, because we couldn't even see it if it was not for the Most High. So we're just sitting here at this green light, couldn't see the traffic coming if we wanted to. And then that happens. And it's so similar to the four-way miracle with me and my mom. We were there. This time, it seems like everything happened even faster, but not. Even though this vehicle coming through the intersection, it still was not as fast, with like a blur like that other one. Now, it was going fast, but the Pathfinder with the four-way was a blur. But here at this major intersection, with people all surrounding us. And at the four-way intersection, there were no people. But even in the midst of people surrounding us, y'all was still there. He still kept us. He still had his angels to hold us from going forward, because that would have been a horrible impact as well. Still, now this happened years later from the four-way miracle, but still, I had not come into the truth yet at this point either. That I don't recall us being into the truth, but we were a few years away, only a few years away from it at that point. But I'm just so thankful to just how he's just acting in my life, in my mother's life, in your lives, how he's just keeping us and wanting to have this relationship with us. Oh my gosh, I'm just so thankful. Words are hard to find when it comes to the Most High, because his grace and mercy and just keeping us, even though we have all fallen short of the glory. And just, I'm just so thankful. That's all I can say. I'm just so thankful. And so that's the miracles that I kind of wanted to talk about, where I actually had the pictures made. But what's so ironic is that this happened again. Now, this was years before this one, and it was after the four-way intersection. This time I was by myself, and I was at a light. My light was green. This was kind of like a three-way, but it was a intersection where I could turn out of a business, but the other vehicles, they were going on the crossroad. So it was green. It was my turn. I was only one coming from this direction, and no one could come from the opposite direction, because that was a closed section. So something had me to wait then. And then here we go. A van came flying through the traffic light, the red light. The Most High had me again, waiting, keeping me from going. He is just the way he looks out for his children, because he knows, just like Revelation 12:9 lets us know, that the enemy has deceived the whole world. He knows about all of the deceit, and he is ready to reveal that truth. He wants that truth to set us free, but we have to seek him. He's not going to force himself off on us. He loves us. He wants us to want to be in a relationship with him, and just everything he's done throughout my life, even in this. And my dad, he actually told me about a miracle that he experienced, where he was waiting at a red light. Now, this particular time, he had like a vision. His miracle was like a vision. He was at this light. He saw a car come through the red light, even though the light had turned green. He saw a car coming through the red light, and then the next thing he know, he was still at that intersection, and the light was red and it turned green. But because he had that vision, he didn't go. And just like that vision, a car came coming on through the intersection. And the Most High, his ways are not like our ways, his thoughts are not like our thoughts. And can you imagine just the kind of love he has, looking out for all of his children? He's looking out for all of us, trying to want to draw us near, but also waiting for us to seek him. And then just one of us, just like myself for an example, everything he's done, and I still can seek him more, to pray for that truth. But at the same time, he knows we have been deceived, and that's why he is so much more long suffering than we even realize. And my grandmother, my dad's mother, actually told me about the experience she had. She was walking home from work. It was dark, and as she was walking home, she was approaching the house, and next thing you know, she hears a neighbor calling her name and saying, "Who is that behind you?" So some man was following my grandmother from her job. I don't know if it was from her job or what point he started following her, but he was following her. And when they said that, he ran away. But the Most High had You couldn't see on that porch though because the lights were off. The Most High was looking out for his child. He made sure that the neighbor went out on the porch when they did, and everything happened in the way he had it to happen, because that person was not going to affect his child. The Most High is so wonderful. He is so worthy to be praised. And the way he just looks out for us in so many ways. And I just think about how easy it is to get so caught up in life and not even give him hardly any time to seek, to study, to show ourselves approved, to learn the things he wants us to know, and not the things that the world has taught us or what we think we need to know. But just all these different miracles in my life, in my mother's life, my dad, my grandmother, your lives. Please share your miracles that you experienced. Please put them down below. Please put them in the comment section. We need to talk about these things. We need people to know this is happening. We need people to realize that this is not happening just because. It's happening because Yahuwah, the creator of all, is real. He's a living Elohim. He didn't stop with the Bible. He didn't stop with the scriptures. He is still actively in our lives. And so we just have to give him all the glory, honor, and praise, because his divine intervention, without his divine intervention, we just have to be real. Where would we be? Just think about all the things he's done in your life. No matter how big, how small, he does so much for us. So much. And I just give him all the glory, honor, and the praise. I'm going to end this video here. We will continue in part 3, where I will share the powerful dream that started it all. Thanks so much for watching. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, there is only one who is the way, the truth, and the life. And that is Yahushua.